Oh, hello there, and thank you for tuning in to Playbill Live with Mark and Felicia. I'm Mark Pikert, editor-in-chief of Playbill.
And I'm Felicia Fitzpatrick, the social media director. Hey, yo.
And today's special guest star is Michael Urie, not of MTV's Undressed.
Right. Should he still even be on? Should we just scrap the whole thing? Invite
Honestly, it's too late.
Yeah, he's here.
So we're
stuck
with him. The Quarantine Prince, because he has owned quarantine online. But we'll talk about all that in a minute.
What?
Meanwhile, let's talk about the news.
Should we talk about the most important thing that happened this week?
The fact that you and I single-handedly revived Smash for a night.
For a night, but for forever.
So people hosted the stream of the 2015 Bombshell concert, which was at the Minskoff, and it was a fundraiser at the time for the Actors Fund. And again, it was a fundraiser for the Actors Fund. Correct. And we were living when they streamed that on Wednesday?
It's all a blur, but yeah, it was Wednesday. It was a great way, a halfway point, reward. Did you see it live? I always forget.
No, I was moderating the opening night panel of ATX in Austin.
Oh, right. Because, yes, of course. TX.
With Jessica Zor from Gossip Girl.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Vanessa, yeah. I was moderating. She had a series on USA called Complications, and I was moderating.
Classic V, am I right? Yeah, so because, that was my first time seeing it was Wednesday, and, I was tearing up several times, which I didn't really expect. I thought it was going to be a good time, but I was getting goosebumps and doing that.
One,
you're
Live alum, Wes Taylor. Doing public relations.
Yes, some serious hip movements happening.
So my ex was obsessed with Smash.
Mm-hmm.
More than we are.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, Public Relations was his favorite song, and he would make me listen to it over and over again.
Wow. So you know very well. You could have done Wesley's part, is what I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely could have.
Watch out, Wesley. Here comes Mark.
But as if streaming the concert was not enough. Then, the next morning,
I know,
they announced, not Bombshell,
no,
Smash itself is headed for the Great White Way.
A musical adaptation of the series. I'm fascinated of how that's going to work exactly.
I want to know, is it season 1? Is it season 2? Is this our season 3?
Right. And people can ask Mark Shaman about it because he's going to be doing the Broadway Q&A series with us in the Growing Studio on Monday. So I'm about to be submitting questions for that. I'll be how do Mark and I get points on this? How are we producers? Because we made it happen.
Yeah. Well, and so I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I am going to be in the cast. No one has spoken to me about it.
Oh, cool.
No one has phoned me, but I put it on my vision board Thursday morning.
That's beautiful. I love that.
You got to manifest to achieve it.
Exactly. That's a nice meditation moment for us, Mm-hmm. Have an attitude of gratitude.
I love that. Did you coin that?
You what?
Did you coin that?
I don't know.
You didn't.
Probably not, but
No.
I don't know where I've heard it from. I just feel like it's a saying.
Probably from me.
No. You know what? Maybe. I want to give that to you.
So, Bombshell streamed. You spoke to Catherine McPhee about it.
Yes, I did. And what a pleasure it was.
Where she revealed that she had done workshops of Catch Me If You Can.
I know, casually. Because I was I feel like everyone knows her from American Idol or whatever, but no, she has roots in musical theater. And then she said all that, and I was like, girl, you are a Broadway baby.
She is.
Yeah, it was great to talk to her about it just because she's always been so game. She's always been active on Twitter with the memes about Smash and answering fans' questions and doing the Smash Lives live tweeting with us when we were rewatching it. So I really liked getting to talk to her about it. I was like, girl.
Well, and you spoke to someone else last week, the cast and creative team of Puffs
busy gal. Yeah, I feel like you, honestly. I'm just like hobnobbing and interviewing. Yes, I got to talk to Puff's cast and creative because we're streaming Puff's. Oh no, can you hear that? I forgot.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I had do not disturb. It's been a morning. Anyway, I got to talk to them because we're streaming Puffs or 7 increasingly eventful years at a certain school of magic and magic, starting right now at noon. It started streaming. We're 8 minutes in. What are we doing here? Oh my god.
Well, now we're waiting until tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern when you are hosting a Playbill Playback watch party on Twitter.
Hashtag. Yeah. And we have an email chain. A lot of the cast and creative are going to be live tweeting with us. I'm excited.
Oh, nice. I love it when they do that.
Because I want them to share like some fun behind the scenes stories. Because that show, I mean, first of all, I love obviously, but it's just so crazy because so many different actors are playing multiple characters. So I want to know, like, when you're quick changing, did you have to like run across, like, there's so many little like things that I think diehard fans are gonna love that they get to share. And that's kind of how our interview was too. I was like, can we just geek out about Puffs? So it's fun.
I love that for you.
Thank you so much.
Also streaming and probably worth a watch, Gillian Anderson in A Streetcar Named Desire.
Yes, and she did a Twitter Q&A this week at some point.
Oh, I missed that. I love her. She's fantastic.
She's a blur. Oh, you should have been able to ask her a question. I should have let you know.
That's fine. And then the only other thing before we bring Michael Urie on is we announced, Pride Plays and Playbill announced the lineup for the June plays every Friday in June at 7 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be live streaming live readings of 4 LGBTQI+.
Nice.
Are all those?
I think the A, but you got it, yeah.
I'm an old person.
You nailed it.
Classics. So, and one of them, the very last Friday in June, I'm most excited about because they're doing Mark Crowley's sequel to The Boys of the Band, The Men from the Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And when I spoke to Mark Crowley right before the Tony Awards last year, I asked him if there was any talk after the success of Boys in the Band of somebody doing The Men from the Boys. And he said, no one's called me about it. It exists. It's published. So it's out there. So I guess that's my answer.
And then Pride Plays called.
Now here's Pride Plays.
On the phone.
Doing it in honor of Mart, who passed away recently.
And I'm excited I did think of you when I saw that play on the lineup, but I'm also excited for Danya Our Loves 1 and 2. Because I feel like
Did you see it off Broadway?
Yeah. And it was so good. I saw it like maybe a weekend after I saw The Inheritance. And it was a good to have those two pieces in conversation with each other, you know. I'm excited for more people to get to see that.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a grand old time.
It is gonna be a grand old time.
What?
A gay old time.
Gay old time, which we love.
We do. We sure do. All right. Should we bring on Mr. Michael Urie?
Oh yeah, because we've got things to talk about with him.
We have so much to talk about. We have to talk about.
Well, go ahead.
I mean, we have a rivalry that dates back to our days doing UIL competition in small town Texas.
Right.
And we're going to address that.
The thing that I want to address with him is that since the last time I saw him, I've seen 3 episodes of Ugly Betty. He's amazing. So I want to like break down the first 3 episodes because I don't want spoilers, but those 3 episodes, can't wait to talk about, you know?
I'm so tired of you watching shows a full decade after they aired and then saying, no spoilers.
But it keeps fresh. It brought Smash back, for crying out loud. Let's get Ugly Betty on Broadway.
Spoiler, Betty gets pretty.
I didn't hear what you said. I just heard you say Ugly Betty, and then I closed my ears because I know better.
I'm adding Michael. I'm tired of talking to you.
Okay. Fair.
Oh.
My gosh. I didn't expect you. Hello.
We love
that pop at the ready.
I cleaned it. I washed it. I stole it last time I was on your show. And here it is.
We love to see it.
It's only my 3rd cup today.
Michael Urie, you and I grew up in Texas.
Yeah.
Parallel lives.
Yeah.
Felicia was not in Texas for high school, so she did not participate in this. But Did you do the UIL competition one-act play?
I did. So I'm from Plano, and in Plano there's high school and then there's senior high school. High school is 9th and 10th grade, and then senior high school is 11th and 12th grade. And this is all for football. This is so that football players get experience, but it works out for all the extracurricular activities. Like in 10th grade, I was the lead in The Sound of Music. I was the captain.
Ooh, okay.
Which I wouldn't have been if it was a 4-year school, you know. So it worked out really well for all of those. But because of that, we only did UIL one-act play at the senior high. So I did it twice. The first year we did 6 Degrees of Separation by John Guare, starring Michael Benjamin Washington as Paul.
Yeah.
And he was brilliant, and he won Best Actor, and the show won state.
Come through.
And then the next year we did Arcadia by Tom Stoppard, and we didn't get out of districts.
Because we've forgotten to impart a very important piece of UIL one-act competition, which is someone cuts plays down to 45 minutes.
That's right. So Tom Stoppard's 3-hour masterpiece Arcadia in 40 minutes.
With unit sets that you have to assemble.
Right.
Within, what is it, like
10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
You have 10 minutes to put together. Now, we did, as I recall, we didn't, for 6 Degrees of Separation, we definitely didn't use any of that stuff. We brought our own furniture. And it was super glam, super classy with this big, beautiful couch and a bar and you know, that Kandinsky that we brought in, not real, but like, you know, our fake Kandinsky and then I believe for Arcadia, we just had a table, or maybe we had a doorway. Suffice it to say, Arcadia didn't work. It didn't play. 6 Degrees played great. I mean, because that's already a one-act. It's already like pretty short. So cutting it down, you know, I'm sure Guare would have been upset. But it works pretty well. And Michael was brilliant, and the whole cast was brilliant. And but what plays did you do, Mark?
I did a one-man version of Medea.
Do you still have the script? Because I hear theaters are looking for one-man shows.
I do. That will be July Pride Plays. It's going to be me doing my one-man versions of all the shows that I love.
Great.
No, we did very strange shows. So one year I did, and we did not make it very far. We had to get through Zone before District.
Oh, Zone. Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't have Zone. What district were you in?
Dickinson High School between Houston and Galveston.
Okay. That's South Texas.
But we did Joined at the Head, which was a very heavy play about cancer, and I played a bunch of different roles. Okay. I did not win any awards. And then the next year we did the Insanity of Mary Gerard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a crazy play.
And I played the sociopathic husband who has her locked away for being insane when she just had an affair.
Wow.
And I did win an award.
What award did you win for that?
Like all-star.
Honorable mention or something?
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
That's great. That's what I won that for Arcadia. For Arcadia, I won like honorable mention, but then we did not advance, which was really, really like upsetting after we'd won the whole thing the year before.
Yeah.
It was like, ooh. But did you also compete in speech and debate? Have we talked about that?
No.
Because I was the national champion in DI my senior year.
Well, you're quite a bit older than I am, so I don't think that we overlapped.
Touche. But Michael Benjamin Washington, the aforementioned, he won nationals 2 years in a row before I did. And the year he won HI, humorous interpretation, Josh Gad won DI, dramatic interpretation.
That's fun.
Yeah.
My go-to was Charlie Brown eating the peanut butter sandwich.
Oh.
From Your Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. I would totally watch a Netflix documentary in the style of Cheer, but about like Texas UIL for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I made a documentary called "Thank You for Judging" that is available on Next Media about the state competition. This is like 10 years ago now, but it's about the state competition in Texas, and we follow my old high school and a few other high schools.
I watch that. Let's stream that on Playbill.com.
Oh my God, you should.
Yeah, talk to him. He's got it.
Why not?
Make it happen. That's such a. I feel like such a part of theater kid culture, though.
Yeah. There he is, pretending to write for the couch.
Yep.
No, I actually I cut my finger just now and I wrote it in blood, so I won't forget.
I'm so glad you're watching Ugly Betty, Felicia.
Oh, right. Yes. Like a decade later, it's my.
I know, but it's all right. You can discover it anytime.
Thank you, and shout out to Hulu for that opportunity. No, I've always wanted to watch it because America Ferrera and like Vanessa Williams, but you steal the show. Okay,
oh my gosh.
I know him. Like, like it was amazing.
I won't spoil anything, but wait till Rebecca Romaine shows up.
Okay, I love a marker. Okay,
she's terrific. But times have changed. I'll just say that.
The episode I think we watched last was when the book got stolen. Like, the book, and the stakes are high. It's like Devil Wears Prada though, but like a TV show. And I'm like, thank you, because I need more. Like Devil Wears Prada is just a movie, but this is like a whole series that I can enjoy for years to come.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
It's just like Devil Wears Prada. Like
Felicia, I really appreciate this about you. You are firmly in the aughts still. All of your references are from 2000 to 2010.
Okay, Aaron, like, yes. But although I am one of those people where I think the 90s was 10 years ago. It's certainly not, but that's just like the way my brain operates. So
it's weird like that, right? Like the aughts. Yeah. I mean, maybe now that we're getting into the teens, the aughts will have more of a singular personality like the 90s kind of did and the 80s certainly did. But it's sort of like they sort of like mush together the aughts and the tens.
Yeah.
No. Oh, sorry. The teens. Right now that we're going into the 20s. See, I'm doing it right now.
See, Michael Urie's relatable, y'all. Yes, it's true though.
Michael, I'm shocked that relatable Michael Urie had time to talk to us. He's so busy churning out content between recreating Buyer and Seller, which I have it on good authority. He performs every night in his own apartment at 8 p.m.
Yeah. Last night was great.
And then the insane Clue video where you played Wadsworth.
Oh, how cool was that?
That was insane.
So we shot that at the very beginning of quarantine. So those guys, Tim Drucker and John Michael Snow, came up with that idea like right away as soon as we quarantined, and that was the original cast of the Clue live reading that we did at 54 Below, which we did a few years ago. And like I didn't know any of those people, but Jason Michael Snow was like, I think that. I said John Michael Snow. It's Jason Michael Snow. My bad. Jason Michael Snow was like, he just like had a gut instinct that I liked that movie, and he was right. And I not only did I like it, but I knew it very, very well. And that was the idea, was like to get a bunch of people who knew the movie really, really well to like imitate the movie. It wasn't like recreate the story or like reinterpret. It was like, no, impersonate those people. And so it was, they got Brandon Uranowitz to play Madeline Kahn. And Max, what's his name, played Mr. Green, and it was just like everybody like knew it so well, and it was so brilliant and so perfect. And we did it at 54 Below for an audience full of Clue fans who were all dressed up.
Wow.
I mean, it was like like a Rocky Horror kind of a thing. And then at the end of it, this old guy walks up on stage at 54 Below, and we're like, who's this guy? And he takes the microphone and he says, hi, I'm Jonathan Lynn. I'm the writer and the director of the movie Clue. And that was terrific. And then he invited us to do it again at this this thing where he was being honored at the Players Club, and we did it again for him. Isn't that crazy?
That's so cool.
It was really cool, and he's a really sweet guy, and he loved it, and he embraced it, and so Jason and Tim put this thing together. We filmed it at the very beginning of quarantine, and then they spent like 2 months editing it and like making it look so good.
Yeah.
With color correction and sound, and I mean because the footage must have come in all kinds of disarray. I mean, I shot all my stuff like, okay, now I'm gonna go over here, and Ryan was like, okay, where do I go? And, you know, like there's been a lot of that. Ryan, like, where are you gonna be now? Now what?
I like that you live with your cameraman. I like that you've given him shelter during this troubling time.
It's very convenient. I mean, it has been like, I have to say, not only is it nice to be quarantined with a person, I can't even imagine like being alone during all this time. And we have a dog and a cat and windows, but like we're able to do stuff and be creative. We did a 24-hour monologue the other day together. We did a short play by Talene Monahan for MCC last week. Like, we're able to like do stuff, and it's really nice. It's so nice to like stay creative. And obviously, like, none of this is real theater, like as we know it. But there is this sense when you do something live and people are watching, it does feel like community again. Like when I was doing Buyer and Seller, there were thousands of people watching. I couldn't hear them or see them, but I did feel them, and it does feel like theater. And I'm sure like that energy was registering from me to them. You know, they must have felt like, oh, this is definitely happening right now. I can tell that, like, that's the energy coming off of the screen. Unlike television, which is so finished, you know, so polished and finished. Like, theater still has this like rawness to it, and people are able to like make that happen. And that's what we're hopefully it'll feel that way with Pride Plays. All these readings will hopefully have that dangerous quality of being like live and actually unfolding as you watch it.
Well, I was going to say, on top of everything that you are doing creatively, you're also like planning much more than what Playbill is streaming. There are all of the commission plays that Pride Plays asked young playwrights or emerging playwrights for. Right. Yeah. So Pride Plays was like ready to go when the pandemic hit. We had made all of our selections and notified all of our writers, and like we were ready to start the process of choosing directors and starting to cast. And then the pandemic hit, and we tried to hold off as long as we could, you know, in hopes that the end of June would be doable. I mean, I don't know if you remember Lo those many weeks ago, but there was a time when we thought June was going to be okay. And so we were like, okay, Pride might still be on. We might still be able to do June, and we really held out hope as long as we could. And we thought, even if we have to postpone, maybe we can be the first things back. But like, you know, as we get further and further into this, the first things back will be such an experiment. Once we are back in theaters, it's going to be such an experiment. And so we didn't want Pride Plays to be an experiment. And we also didn't want these artists to lose out on anything. So that's when we started to discuss going online with it. And then the wonderful people at Playbill approached us and really like solved all of our problems by offering to host us. Every question we had, I mean, we still have lots of questions, but every question we had about the how became clear. And it was such an incredible relief and such a perfect home for us. And so what we did, we had like 24 plays selected. All the existing works that we were going to do, we let go to focus on the new plays that had come through our submission process. And we received like over 200 submissions, and we chose about a little over a dozen, and then we gave everyone the option to either go online or wait. And so we have 11. They were announced yesterday. 11 new plays that we will be workshopping on Zoom with a cast and a director and these wonderful playwrights, and of all
from all over the rainbow, and they will get it's Equity's 29-hour reading, and then an invite-only presentation. So like you'll read about them on Playbill, and you'll hear about them, but they're really like developmental. It's not focused on the show. And then these 4 shows that we'll be putting on. So funny to say shows, but shows that we'll be putting on Friday nights in June on Playbill. As you mentioned, Men from the Boys. So Men from the Boys, we actually were going to do as part of the regular festival. We had, and Mark knew about it.
Really? Oh,
yeah, Mark knew about it before he died, and it's Mark who wanted Zach Quinto to direct, and so like we were able to pull that off, which is really cool. We're able to still do that, and it's a cool play. I mean, it's so interesting that it hasn't really had a New York production. Because it's cool, and especially now, and I think it'll be really, really cool now that the Boys in the Band is so fresh for all of us. Like we know all those guys, and the movie's coming out. It's like it still feels so like of the moment for us. We like those characters are in our memory. So to now see them 40 years later, so we'll get to cast like 40 years later version of Zach Quinto, 40 years later version of Andrew Rannells, and actually not that character. That character's dead. Spoiler alert. But the other characters. It takes place after that. Men for the Boys takes place following the funeral of Andrew's character, whose name I can't remember right now. So, yeah.
Wow.
Listen, tragedy, right? So that'll be the final play of our 4-play series. Leading up to that will be Brave Smiles by the 5 Lesbian Brothers, directed by Lee Silverman, which is a hysterical play that we did last year in Pride Plays. And it's so funny. It's basically like a spoof of the Children's Hour and the killing of Sister George, and all these lesbian tragedies that used to and in part kind of why we wanted to do Pride Plays in the first place. We wanted to do plays about the queer experience that did not end in tragedy, that were not about like being punished for being queer. So that play's perfect because it's a comedy, and it's sort of like shining a light on why did we do that for all those years? Why were we making those kinds of things all those years? And then Janja R. Love's play 1 and 2, which is such an amazing play, and did have a really exciting production just recently off Broadway, and we just thought like it's so apropos given that we're back in a plague, and that once again minority communities are getting the brunt of it, and that play examines that exact thing through the lens of AIDS in the African American community. And it was such a cool and theatrical production. And so that was another thing that we, like, what's a play like on this platform? And we had to think about like what plays would work in this way. And I think that play, because it was so theatrical, I think that there is something very adaptable about it. And Don's just so clever. I know that he'll come up with whatever we need to like make it work. And then the third play is the youngest play, in that it has not had a full production. MJ Kaufman's Masculinity Max. MJ is this incredible, very prolific playwright whose other play, Eat and You Belong to Us, we did last year, and who's been produced a lot out of town. And Masculinity Max even had a workshop production at the Public. But this is a very funny and thoughtful play about a recently transitioned man who figures out how to fold himself into his family now. And it's very funny. And MJ is an incredible writer, and Will Davis is directing that for us, and it'll be really cool, really, really cool. And then the last Sunday of June will be this musical theater spectacular,
Right.
which Mark conceived, and I think it's going to be really cool, really exciting, and
you're hosting,
and I'm hosting.
And I think, well, I don't have permission, but I'm just going to say it. I'm playing all the characters of the Men from the Boys. That is the first solo production that I will be doing for Piper Pride Month. I'm very excited.
And you'll be wonderful.
Well, look, Zach Quinto stole everything about me when he played Harold from the band.
Frankly, so, Robin DeJesus too.
Yeah, I contain multitudes. I mean, one, I was so excited when you guys were interested in doing Pride Plays with us because I was such a fan of it last year. And two, I think it's going to be so exciting to be able to give people something like this to look forward to when it is a month of celebration and it is a month of bringing a community together. And what does that look like when you shouldn't leave, when it's not safe to leave your house for a prolonged period of time?
Yeah, totally. And Pride, you know, just because there's no parade, it doesn't mean that June is not still Pride Month. And what better way to celebrate than doing a bunch of queer theater on Playbill? And Playbill has always been like the best at Pride. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, not just like the rainbow Playbills, but like you guys have always just like really supported queer theater already. So it was such a natural marriage.
Well, I'm delighted to be doing it. And now, Felicia, did you have another question about Ugly Betty?
No, I just wanted him to know that I'm engaging with his work a decade later. Like, I'm a Michael Urie fan for life. That's all.
Because I did want to bring up Miss America reality check.
Wow, you went back, huh?
I remember. So that happened during the writer's strike, didn't it?
That's correct. During the writer's strike. So this is here goes the deal. You want some tea?
Please, piping hot.
When we did Ugly Betty, I probably told you this story before, but when we did Ugly Betty, the pilot of Ugly Betty, I was a co-star. Now, a co-star is less than a guest star. So like when you're watching, like Felicia, when you watched Ugly Betty, the first episode, you didn't even see my name in the credits. The second episode, I was a guest star. And until episode like 14, I'm a guest star, even though I'm in every episode. So this is like a weird, complicated. So like co-star, when you're watching a TV show, a guest star is like the killer or like the or like the prosecuting attorney. Guest star is he went that way. And so I was a co-star. He went that way. I was a co-star in the pilot of Ugly Betty, even though I had like a bunch of scenes. I had the Botox. I had like a bunch of scenes in that pilot. But they didn't know what they were going to do with the character, and they had this idea that Vanessa would have a new assistant every week.
Oh, okay.
And so they weren't, making any commitments to me. So we're shooting the pilot, and immediately Vanessa and I are pals.
Uh-huh.
And she's so cool right away, and she likes me. And I have all these ideas, far too many ideas. And if you've seen the show, there are way too many ideas. But a lot of them are funny, and a lot of them work, and that's how I got the job. I brought in a lot of ideas, and they hired me. And so I had this idea that like everything that Vanessa does physically, I mimic behind her. So like if she looks like that, I look like that.
Right.
And so I'm doing that behind her, unbeknownst to her. And some like shady wardrobe person or makeup person or hair person tells her that I'm doing this. Like rats me out for doing this.
But things like doing it like maliciously or something, no?
I mean, I think they knew I think they knew I was doing it. I think they thought I was trying to like steal focus or upstage.
Oh.
And they wanted to warn Vanessa about this. And Vanessa, wait, what'd you say?
But y'all were BFFs, right? So she would get it?
Well, yeah. I mean, she liked me, so I was comfortable doing it. And I also was like, I'm a co-star. I'm going to put it all out there. I'm going to leave it on the screen, damn it. And,
Yes.
And like, you know, there are a lot of divas who might have been intimidated by something like that, or might not have wanted their, you know, like assistant to be behind them, mimicking them and stealing focus or upstaging them. And so this person told Vanessa that I was doing that. And immediately she came over to me and said, I hear you're doing me behind me. What else can I do that you can do? So like,
and that's where we stand. Wow. Yeah.
Immediately, like, not only did she like accept what I was doing and endorse what I was doing, she encouraged it and knew it was going to help her. She was like, she knew that we would be better together than apart. And so like we started doing all this, and then she started to say things, because like I hadn't done much. I had been in like, you know, like one indie, a couple of commercials, and one other pilot or something. Like I hadn't really done any. I hadn't really spent much time on a set. She would say things like, "Hey, if you stand right here, you'll be in the shot." Like she knew where the camera was and what the frames were, and she knew like how to like make me better, and she did, and she encouraged that. And by the end of the pilot shoot, they invited me to be in the cast photo.
Wow.
And so like it, you know, I was like, this is so cool. I think if this happens, maybe they'll have me back once or twice. And then they picked up the show and they put me in every episode. But because I didn't have a deal, because, you know, when you do a pilot, you make a deal for the rest of your life. And because I was just a co-star, I had no deal. I had no like contract. So I was on, I was making, you know, I mean, I was making great money. Don't get me wrong. It was the most money I'd ever made, but it was nothing compared to what people really normally get on TV. Or what I even made before on TV. Like, it was just like, because they were, I'm sorry, I have to plug in my computer's dying. Hold on.
See, this is live streaming. Live
I know. Here we go. Okay. We're good. Sorry. Okay. So, yeah, so I was making like great money, but I had nothing. I mean, I was totally broke at this point. And so I was making good money, but like literally like I had to move to LA and buy a car. And the only way I could get, like they weren't going to give me a loan for my car. They laughed at me. I said I was an actor and they were like, really? This is LA, right? I'm the Honda of Hollywood. They're laughing at me because I say I'm an actor. And I'm like, no, I really am. And you could even like check abc.com and you'll see me. And they did. And that's how I got a loan for that car. No kidding. So I had no money and I started making money, but there was also like all these expenses suddenly. Had to get a publicist, had to get like, you know, like you had to do all these things suddenly. Right. And I was very lucky that like I actually Mark knew her. I had this amazing publicist, Julie Nathanson, who agreed to work for me for free, and she just died a few weeks ago, not of COVID. She was so cool. So like that was a help, and then she was like, we can find ways to supplement your income as, you know, a star or like a famous person, because like the show was a big hit right away. Right. And suddenly I'm getting I'm in the grocery store buying toilet paper, getting recognized, but I can barely afford the toilet paper. So this all, and then I guess the writer's strike came around. It was in season 2, and they were like, "Don't worry, you can renegotiate at the end of season 2." So that was like, but that was like a long time, and I wanted to like live. I was like working with all these rich stars, and I couldn't like keep up with them. You know, like I didn't have the clothes to keep up with them. I didn't have a car. I couldn't go to like the restaurants that they were going to. So then my managers were like, we have this opportunity for you where you can make some money, and it's hosting a reality show about Miss America, and they'll pay you a lot of money. And I did it. So I did it.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was really fun. And the Miss America contestants were fantastic. I loved them. They were really cool. And the Miss America people were really cool. What they were trying to do with this Miss America show was pretty counterintuitive to Miss America. They were trying to make it like Runway or like Hip and Cool. But like all of the contestants, I think it's okay that I'm saying this, all the contestants, they like had contracts with their state. So like Miss California had a contract with the Miss California pageant that she appear on Miss America the same way she appeared on Miss California. Like she represents Miss California. Like she can't, like they like contractually couldn't change their appearance. So like we're going through being like, cut your hair, change your dress. And they're like, we can't.
Right.
And then like the person who ended up winning Miss America reality check, which was not the same as the pageant, didn't even place. Because it was a totally different, it was very strange. And I think it was like ultimately a failed experiment. And then I was supposed to appear on the Miss America pageant, but I got in trouble with ABC and I wasn't allowed to.
What a dramatic 2 seasons behind the scenes of Ugly Betty.
How about that?
That's
right?
a inside scoop. Yeah.
And meanwhile, we shot through the writer's strike. Interestingly, we did shoot. A lot of shows did. Some shows did not. But we shot through the writer's strike and we just didn't rewrite scripts. Like they wrote all the scripts before they went on strike.
Yeah.
And we just didn't have rewrites for like several episodes. And you can tell, you'll see, Felicia, when you get to season 2, you'll see. I mean, the episodes are great, but we get a little stuck. And in fact, there was this whole plan to do a musical episode at the end of season 2. And so there were all of these storylines that were leading up to the musical episode. And then when the strike happened, we had to cancel the musical episode. And we just sort of ended up stuck in these storylines for like half a dozen episodes.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then the strike ends and you'll know exactly when it happens. The strike ends. They sort of like changed some of the producers. They got they cleaned house a little bit. And there's some episode where like, you can tell it's like the strike is over, the characters are back, the storylines come back together, and it's glorious.
I can't wait. And
then season 3, we moved to New York.
Oh, like to shooting in New York.
Yes. So like there's some, I mean, season 1 is like terrific, and season 2 is great, and then there's this weird period where it's like, what happened? What's going on? Who are they? And then like it's back, and then at the end of season 2, they announced that we were moving to New York to shoot in New York. And the show takes place in New York.
Right.
And then and then we had Pat Field doing the costumes, and we were shooting like on the streets of New York. And like season 3 and 4 are like aesthetically the show just like blossoms. And
I can't wait.
It's very cool.
I feel like, not that I've ever shot a TV show, but I just feel like there's so much more energy for the streets of New York when you're actually shooting.
100%. I mean, the first episode of season 3, we're shooting in Dumbo, between the Brooklyn and Manhattan Bridge, and like the show is just filled with it's like completely rejuvenated.
I love it. Wow.
Yeah. You're making me want to go back and rewatch.
What?
You're making me want to go back and rewatch.
Okay, and then Ugly Betty's coming to Broadway, so.
Well, oh my God, that's right. Okay, so this is like, you were talking about the Smash musical. This is really funny. So when the show was on, I think it was after season 2, after season 2, Becky Newton and I went to Monte Carlo to this big TV festival and represented the show. I know, it's stupid. And it's just like Pride Place. And we...
I can't believe they let the 2 of you represent the show.
Oh my God. It was, honestly, we got away with so much stuff. But we had a blast in Monte Carlo, and we did tons of press. And I popped to London on the way or something like that. And I did a radio interview in London, and off the record, I told the DJ that we were talking about the show, and I told the DJ that Silvio Orta, the late Silvio Orta, who was the creator of the show, he had been thinking about turning Ugly Betty into a musical. And I mentioned that. And off the air and off the record, but he was recording, and he aired it, and it like blew up because the show was really popular at the time, and like it blew up, and it was like you know, and we had Vanessa Williams and Judith Light on the show. Like we had these like big stars on the show, and the idea of them being in a musical on Broadway, and like even like you know, like America Ferrera in a musical on Broadway. Come on. And I think I even said like I'm sure we'd all want to do that. And we would have, certainly, especially at the time. I mean, it would have been a no-brainer. We would have all loved to do a Broadway musical of that show. So I was mortified because that was not public information.
Right.
It was so early days, and I was mortified. I got really mad at the guy. He sent me champagne to apologize, like this big bottle of champagne to apologize, and I groveled to Silvio. And he couldn't have been cooler about it. He was like, look, these kind of things don't even happen until they get leaked to the press. So.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, I think even Mark Shaman was going to write the musical episode. I'm pretty sure like it was like that far down the line. It was like a thing.
Felicia, bring it up on Monday.
Yeah. What's Monday?
Interviewing Mark Shaman about Smash.
Oh.
Get with it, Felicia.
I had already. Yes, honestly, we'll plant the seed because that would be perfect. Everyone loves a reboot right now, and then having everyone reunite on Broadway, like done and done.
Are you guys super surprised that it's Smash the musical and not Bombshell the musical? Because wasn't that a thing?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I found the receipts, the 2016 Playbill article. I'm excited for a Smash musical, though. Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, great character. I mean, beloved characters.
We are running out of time because we've got another live stream happen. Not with us, but there's another one happening at 1.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So, Michael, where can people follow you on social media?
I'm on Twitter and the Instagram and on the Facebook. You know, I'm the blue check. You'll find me. It's easy.
Ooh, he said I'm a blue.
I'm a blue check, bitch.
We'd love to see it. And it's just
and we're blue checks too.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, find us. Everybody find us.
Everybody find us.
And Pride Plays is on Twitter and Instagram as well.
Pride Plays is on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And a lot of our writers are too. Follow them. Yeah, more updates, casting updates soon, more director updates soon. It's very cool. It's gonna be we're all. I'm actually hopping off of this onto a casting call for Ryan Haddad's play, Good Time Charlie, which is one of the workshops. It's such a good play. He's such an amazing writer.
Now that's based on Where's Charlie, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week at noon on YouTube.
Noon, yes.
Great to see y'all.
You too,
Michael Urie.
Bye.
Goodbye. Bye.
Bye-bye.